Hey, how you guys doing? My name's Mark Harris. I'm just gonna get on here real quick and do a quick review of the videos that we watch for class in this week. First, my general thoughts of the video is that they're a good reminder of how beneficial weight training can be to the whole spectrum of people, age-wise, gender-wise, anyone, just for humans in general. And that it definitely isn't something that's for younger or the teens, the 20s, the 30s, but going all the way up into the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even close to the 80s, like we saw in one of the videos. My experience with weightlifting started in high school with strength and conditioning for sports and everything like that. It was a pretty basic training regimen. Do concentrate different muscle groups on different days, and also kind of we always integrated conditioning and plyometrics, box jumps, stuff like that to really get speed and power incorporated into our movements, so that would translate onto the field, whether it be football or baseball and stuff like that. The first two videos, videos 1A and 1B, I think the biggest takeaways were just to keep moving. Weight training, like I said, it can be transferred into your elderly age, and as a matter of fact, they said that it's health for good brain health. You should be doing it. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but simply just getting out there and moving and training your muscles and doing a little bit of resistance training has shown beneficial for the brain. And if we don't do it, when we age, our brain's going to age, and it's going to have negative repercussions like dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that. Another takeaway is either you use it or you lose it. In the second video, which kind of piggybacked the first video in the TED Talk, the professor basically said that, showed us diagrams and imagings from, a spectrum of people, whether it be 40 or in their 70s, versus if they lived a stagnant life or they lived an active life, and the muscle decay was drastic. And it wasn't just because of age, because they showed us, like I said, a 70-year-old difference between, we saw the sarcopenia in a 40-year-old was worse than in a 70-year-old who was active, and the 40-year-old lived a more stagnant life and not as active life. So it's definitely another big takeaway I got from these videos is that we shouldn't use age as an excuse for our inactivity. As a society, I feel like we kind of think we associate age with sitting on the couch, or it's okay because they're older and they have brittle bones or whatever, they're weaker, they should sit on the couch. But it's actually, that's kind of a sort of like a correlation, is elderly people think we should be doing that, but really we're putting ourselves in a bad situation when they should be up and moving, maybe even more than a younger person, because their bones and their muscles are decaying and have that sarcopenia, like they said in the TED Talk. The second two videos, the things I really took away from it is when we're watching those really heavy Olympic style lifts, and when it was slowed down especially, I felt there was no wasted movement in those lifts and those movements. The barbell was going straight up, and those lifters and those athletes were using momentum to their advantage and moving their body around or underneath the weight, which I think is a great, when you slow down the video, is a great reminder of just using momentum and proper form to accomplish these lifts, which will also, when using proper form and using momentum the correct way, and not wasting any movements, we're actually preventing injuries that way. Obviously you can't prevent every injury, but you're putting yourself in a better situation to not sustain an injury when you are using proper form, and not wasting any movements. Those are my three biggest takeaways. There was no wasted movements in those lifts. They were using momentum to their advantage and moving their bodies either underneath or around the weight, and they were using proper form for those lifts, again, which would prevents them from probably sustaining a lot more injuries than they possibly do. Let's see. Video 3 was the gentleman kind of explained the squat while the person was doing the squat. My first takeaway was just kind of was kind of boring. The guy's voice was kind of like lulled you to sleep almost. It wasn't very interactive. Maybe if there was a video, maybe if that person, not only you had the person doing the squatting was in the video, but you had the instructor that was doing the instruction in the video kind of demonstrating, it kind of would have probably had a lot more life to it. But it was very informative. The way he explained the placements of your certain body parts and sort of these micro movements that you don't think of when you're doing a squat, kind of how he was explaining that was really helpful. If I were to do a video, I'd probably try to do the bench press, because I feel like I could explain a lot of those small movements, and some of those things we don't consider while we do bench press. A lot of people think it's just a push-up with your chest muscles, but really a good bench press that you really want to be doing, if you're trying to accomplish, personal maxes and stuff like that. I mean, it starts from the ground, your feet placed in a good planted base on the ground, where those are, using kind of the leverage of your whole body to push your back off the bench, and then that which will propel the weight up from your chest. Proper breathing and stuff like that on the decline and then on the incline of the movement are all things that I think that I could kind of explain and kind of demonstrate, which would kind of help someone think about things that they don't think about when they're doing a normal exercise, but it might take with them to the next movement. So those are my thoughts on all this. I hope this kind of is informative to you guys, and maybe you guys saw the same things, or maybe you saw some different things, but that's kind of what I took away from it. So thanks.